did you survive the football weekend? Up and down from local levels here. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and of course, you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know what it's like to watch the Ravens play if you're the Dallas Cowboys, but man, Jerry Jones, you really didn't need that guy on your team, Derrick Henry? Dale Hillistree's here, everybody.
Boy, oh boy. Well, you could have used him till his last carry.
Yeah, that's the problem. Fumble Rooski.
Oh, man. What a weekend. I mean.
Oops, excuse me here. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Sorry.
We here as Valley fans were one spectacular catch by a tight end away from Valley can't have good things. Meanwhile, your Diamondbacks are back to 500, making a push. I didn't watch any Diamondbacks baseball over the weekend.
I did not tune into the game. I was paying attention to it with the highlights, but it was all football for me too.
Yes, yeah. I mean it's kind of crazy, but they're back to 500.
Well, they're a game under now because they lost yesterday.
Well, the ESPN has them 7-2-70.
Oh, are they 500? Okay, so they were above 500. Now they're back to 500.
Right.
You might be. I saw the spectacular robberies, right? The Red Sox outfielder robbed Corbin Carroll of a home run, and then Blaze got him back, after that. I saw the errors yesterday from the young corner infielders that you could attribute to costing him the game yesterday. The problem is the Diamondbacks.
Are you going to name the young corner?
Well, no. Obviously, Locklear's the one.
Are you going to name the infielder?
I don't even know who was playing third base yesterday. But that's your growing pains when you go young. You're going to have games where those guys are going to mess up in those pressure situations.
Throw the ball to first base. You've been doing it since you're 8 years old, Steve.
Maybe his hamstring was tight and he couldn't stride properly.
Steve, you're yelling at a 9-year-old in Little League. Throw the dang ball to the first baseman.
Yeah.
Jeez, almost gets the first baseman
killed. I'm yelling at high school kids out there on Friday night. Come on, hit a motor. What's wrong with you? What's this?
Doesn't Ridge win?
Okay, we went to the Queen Creek, Boulder Creek game.
Oh, okay.
Senior night. They brought out a new turf field. They put the turf field in. So last night was the first home game, or Friday night was. So they did senior night early. That's why senior night was early. So Autumn, through dance stuff and everything, knows somebody whose kid plays on the offensive line for Queen Creek, and then, of course, senior night, so Ethan Ireland was there with her friends and everything. So we went to that game. And looking forward to see Tate Reynolds for the first time. Ask me how that went, Dale.
Hey, Steve, how did Tate Reynolds play on Friday?
Yeah, didn't play.
Didn't play.
Yeah. Nobody talks about it. I guess he got injured in that Las Vegas game that they blew him out.
Yeah, there's and I mean
nobody would say what's wrong with him, though.
Here's a guy who supposedly is going to try and play football and baseball at Clemson.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I was at the game. I was tweeting about the game and all that stuff, and like 3 Clemson people followed me on Twitter during the game. I kind of get updates. I'm sure they get the film and stuff, but they had to have known he wasn't playing, right?
I would.
Don't you call them and go, hey, he's injured right now, or do you keep it a secret?
Oh, no, you're not calling Clemson.
You don't give them a heads up. They're too busy losing.
You also don't want them to know what the injury is.
Yeah, it was quiet. But it was one of those leg braces that went his whole length of his leg and he couldn't bend his knee at all. That does not look good to my eyes.
No. And again, all I saw was the blurb in the paper. Tate Reynolds didn't play, an undisclosed injury.
Yes. But it's one of those leg braces. Starts at his upper thigh, goes down to halfway through his calf, and you walk with a stiff leg. There's no bending of that, which tells me it's a knee injury.
And gosh, you just hope it's a sprain or whatever.
Yeah, it's especially senior year. You can lose. Well, he won't lose the baseball scholarship, which is why he's going to Clemson. He's going there for baseball.
Yes.
So if he loses the football one or whatever, I'm sure it's a big deal in his eyes, but I'm not sure it's the end of the world. Well, but Clemson needs help with the quarterback, by the way. So
it's a big deal in his parents' eyes.
Yes.
Because baseball does not give full ride scholarships.
Well, they do now with the laws. with the rule change. I think with the rule changes. Yeah, that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
It's
There's
up
so
them.
much
I
going
know.
on out there from being able to ring your cowbells all through a play to forever and ever and ever
Yeah,
baseball scholarships. You
yeah.
get whatever, 20 of them. You have to split them up between 30 dudes.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
I know they get more scholarships now because that's part of the problem. Is everybody, including ASU's, like, how are we paying for all of this?
Right.
Because you have to start paying the players and stuff. But yeah, no, that was a shocker. I mean, I saw, number 16 run out there, and Ireland was funny. Ireland's like, all that. I'm not going to name him because it'd be bad, but you can look him up if you want to. But he runs out there, and I'm like, at first, I'm like, well, that guy's too small. I thought Tate was taller, and then I realized, oh, that's not him. But then Ireland's like, hey, that kid's in my whatever class, and then she goes, all he does is tell us how good he is. I'm like, well. He actually slung the rock pretty good in that game Friday night. But yeah, so Tate was out. So that's disappointing. Maybe I'm going to have to go to that Queen Creek Basha game coming up if he's back at that point. So that was my Friday night. They ended up winning. It was a close game in the first half. It is amazing, though. Like, Queen Creek, a lot of people have them as like one of the best teams in the state going into this. And it's just the kids are just bigger. And then I watched the Basha tape because Basha got come back on. I was watching Richard Obert's videos on that.
Yeah.
Those Basha kids are huge. Like, one of the linemen ran by the camera, and I'm like, who was that gigantor that just ran in front of Richard's camera right there? These high school kids, man. It's amazing to see. So I went there Friday night. Desert Ridge got killed by Westwood. I heard it was a running clock early in that game. We're getting feedback from that game. They lost. And then, of course, SCA Saturday night against Bourgade Catholic. Woo! Anybody going to be able to stop this team, man? 55-0. Part of me was, the ASU game was going on. Part of me was like, you know what? Maybe I'll drive over there to Bourgade Catholic and check it out. And I'll watch the ASU game. I'm kind of glad I didn't now. That was a blowout in epic proportions from that side, so...
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this whole baseball thing. It looks like there's now 34 scholarships available, Division I.
It went from like 5 or 10 to like, yes. Now, but because you have to pay them. I don't know. I think they call them scholarships still, but you have to pay them. So I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, but no, that's the issue. Is like teams like ASU are like, how do we pay all these kids?
Well, and what it says, it's a little bit vague. Maximum of 34 scholarships for D1 for 35 players.
But because you can't have walk-ins on anymore in college football and college sports. You have to pay everybody on the roster. And I think that's why the scholarship, they count them as scholarships.
Right.
Is because you have to pay them. If you're an athlete in the big sports, you're getting a paycheck from the school now moving forward. Or from somebody. I don't know if it's specifically the school, yeah. Robert says Locklear has never played pickle, and it shows. That's the thing. They play it all the time. They played it since they were wee little lads. Locklear throws it to first an awful lot in his career from third base. I mean, not Locklear, Lawler.
I was going to say, you're really trying to cover for your boy, aren't you?
I blame Tori. We'll get you updated on Major League Baseball, of course. College football. I will never understand coaches, Dale. And there's a lot to talk about in the ASU game. But the thing that just gnaws at me the most, everybody who's ever played NCAA football, anybody that's ever watched football, anybody that's ever been around football knows you don't go to cover zero when all you have to do is keep them out of the end zone to keep the game alive. And you go to cover zero. It makes me angry. People that have worked their whole lives to become defensive coordinators and head coaches call cover zero when all you have to do is keep them out of the end zone, Dale, and it drives me nuts. Smart people make stupid decisions all the time.
Well, what makes you more angry? A team being aggressive defensively or team playing prevent defense that allows the
no.
team to march down the field.
Why can't you just play your defense that was dominating Mississippi State in the second half? And somewhat in the first half, only held them to 17 points. Why do you have to go cover zero? And then you got the fastest receiver on the face of the planet on the other side. Oh, I don't get it. Why can't you can blitz without sending everybody to where you leave your cornerback out on an island against the fastest guy out there? It baffles me. There's aggressiveness, and then there's too aggressive in that situation. You had one job, Dale, and I literally said it right before that snap. If they kick a field goal, they kick a field goal. Just keep them out of the end zone. Don't let them get behind you. And then there he goes, just jogging all by himself. I think he was waving at his mom over there. He was kissing his girlfriend. And he was like, oh, ball. Jogging into the end zone to win it. It baffles me. I don't get it. I don't go into full prevent because you're trying to keep him out of field goal range. But that's all you got to do, man. Tackle him. Tackle them before the 1 yard line. That's all you got to do.
Tackle them inbounds, hopefully.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And you go to cover zero and get beat. It drives me bad. It's my pet peeve about sports. We lost the Peach Bowl because of it, which is even worse egregious. Like, obviously, Brian Ward has not removed that play from his playbook at the end of a game when you need a stop. Apparently, that's one of his favorite plays to call. It drives me nuts, Dale. So you're on the aggressive side of that, huh?
No. I it's just fascinating to me when it comes down to that because there's teams in the NFL yesterday who played prevent and let the team come down and score.
I hate prevent as well. Yeah. I hate prevent as well. But there's a difference, though, between a touchdown to win it and keeping them to a field goal. Like I said, worst case scenario, Mississippi State kicks a long field goal because their field goal kicker can kick long one. And worst case, you go in overtime. You don't like it, but you can live with that. You can't live with it. You can't come back from a 58-yard guy jogging by himself. I think he was flipping some bratwurst. He was so wide open. Well, he stopped and danced with the palm cheer team, and then he made the end zone. It drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts. Because there's plays besides cover zero to blitz the guy and get to him. Yeah, that was amazing though. Mississippi State's quarterback. He was just, it was cracking me out. He's just nonchalant back there. He's like, hey, he just stands flat-footed, just like looks around, throws the ball, then just goes up again. Like no emotion whatsoever. It's kind of interesting to watch that side of it. So,
well, to me, yes, obviously you're going to talk about the defense and that last drive by Mississippi State. But when I see a Heisman Trophy candidate go 10 for 22,
oh, you're giving us good stats.
82 yards, 2 picks.
Yeah.
There's where my concern is. And does Arizona State have any other receiver besides Jordan Tyson?
Remember going into this season, like a month before this season, I said the wild card was because I was like, they'll be fine without Cam Scatterbo. I think they've proven they're fine without Cam Scatterbo on the running side of things.
And that offensive line run blocking.
How excited did you get in that third quarter when they were just road grading a bigger Mississippi State defensive line?
And they got on a roll. They were physical. And in that first half, again, was it because they stayed an hour and a half away from the stadium?
Maybe the food was bad.
Well, did somebody have a tummy ache? What was the deal? Because, again,
they struggled last year against Mississippi State, too.
You brought it up, though, the road game last year against Texas State. Now they came back and won that game.
They struggled.
But they struggled.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why is that? Because, again, we have a little bit of fun. We have fun with Tex as far as SEC, Big 10, Big 12, things like that. But
SEC fans are a piece of work.
But again, Mississippi State is not in the top half of the SEC.
There's a top half, a bottom half, and then there's Mississippi State.
They haven't won a conference game in a year.
And
so
they haven't been a ranked opponent in like 14 years or something ridiculous like that.
And so there's so many things that are going through my mind. Why the slow start? Why 3 points in the first half?
And they were lucky to get that.
It's like you look at those kind of things, and so that's where my mind goes if I'm Kenny Dillingham.
Well,
why on the road for the most part?
Yeah.
Do we against a quality opponent, not a great opponent?
Say what you want. Mississippi State at home for a team that they will not play in that type of an environment again this year.
No
Big 12 home stadium. Although there's great. Now I'm going to get all. Baylor's a good home. I get it. They're good. They're not that environment.
No.
And we knew that. We knew that going in. In all seriousness, SEC crowd environments to play in are otherworldly. And if you don't play in them every week, it can be intimidating when you get in. I could test the refs were even intimidated. When they picked up that chop block foul, I have no doubt in my mind, those refs were scared to make that call. Because of that crowd. They were like, just pick it up. It was close. Pick it up. Just pick it up. We don't want that kind of hell coming down on us here in the first quarter.
Well, and the other thing that's fascinating to me, I know we're going to be bouncing around a little bit, but under Chan Gailey in Dallas, when we went on the road, especially like to Philadelphia, New York.
I say New York had to be rabid back then too, right?
He would pipe in crowd noise.
Yeah.
And in practice.
Yeah.
And it was freaking annoying. And it didn't help a damn thing.
Yeah.
15 people at ASU practice walking around ringing a cowbell.
They put it in the speakers too.
Is not going to simulate 60,000 idiots.
But he said that, Dillingham said that on that Barstool morning one. He goes, they go, do you think it's, he goes, it doesn't simulate what we're going to walk into.
Right.
He goes, but it gets you, in tune to it and kind of an idea of what you're going to get. It's going to be worse when you get there. So, yeah. I don't think the crowd was a problem. Here's my bigger question. These are the questions that I got for somebody that played high stakes. Of course, your SMU Mustangs suck.
Wow.
Baylor did not lead in that game until they won it, by the way. Two overtimes.
What is going on in Dallas?
What's going on at Gerald J. Ford Stadium over there? But no, here's my question for you. You go into an environment where you know it's going to be outrageously loud and the fans are going to be losing their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in with a clap cadence. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you watch the game, Brock Osweiler kept bringing it up, and I kept losing my mind. And I don't think you can change it during the game if you haven't practiced it.
Right.
But Sam Levitt would get to the line, and the signal to snap the ball was, there's no way this, and it happened late in the game, there's no way a center can hear that. So what happens is you go to the silent count, where the tackle, or is it the guard? Guard turns around, looks at the quarterback, sees he's ready for it, looks back, taps the center on the leg or whatever, and then there's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, or whatever, snap the ball. And that's how you know it's being snapped. And they never went to that. And it cost them it cost them early in the game, it cost them late in the game. To me, that's a coaching mistake.
That is, you know what? And in my mind, pretty egregious.
I think it's a complete overlook by this coaching staff.
And that's something that you're correct on. You need to work on that all week. And usually the way you do it is the right guard is looking over his shoulder. The quarterback raises his right foot. Then the right guard either taps or just flashes his left hand.
That's something,
And the center will, some of them raise their head, and that means I'm coming down, I'm snapping it.
Yeah.
And it's still hard for offensive linemen. But, again, it gives you a better chance than sometimes hearing was that a clap or was that a bell or was
that a clap or is it the guy clapping in row 3 over there? Yeah. Really loud right now. I don't get it. That was driving me nuts throughout the game. And this is the first game where I've looked at it and been like, that was a mistake by the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And besides Kenny Dillingham, this is an experienced coaching staff. And maybe not in the college ranks, but overall in those ranks and stuff like that. That was just Brock Osweiler kept bringing it up, and I was with him the whole time. And like I said, I don't think you can switch in the middle of a game if you haven't practiced it. You're stuck.
If you don't have a mechanism for that, if you worked on it up in Tonazona and you worked at it, the first couple of weeks, even though you weren't going to use it against NAU, you work at it a little bit in practice, so that it's not a shock because it is. It takes a lot when you're a right tackle or a left tackle, and you've got the guy who's going to be racing around you to your right. You got to have peripheral vision. You're trying to watch the ball when you see the head come up and go down, and then you got to time it.
Yeah.
That makes it easier though. Yeah. I don't know what I heard.
Yeah. Well, you saw at one point he clapped. Everybody moved, but the center.
Yeah. And the center looked around and goes, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I know. It drives me nuts. So that was one thing where I was like, I think they were caught off guard. I don't know if caught off guard is the right word, but I was shocked at that level of coaching happening in that game from that side of it. And then the other thing is a month before the season started, I said my biggest question mark wasn't Cam being gone. I think the running game's going to be all right.
Yep.
And they proved that. But who's going to be the other receiver that steps? They have nobody.
Do they have nobody, or is Levitt not looking for somebody?
Okay, that's issue number 2. Levitt missed a lot. The broadcast, it was hard to see. But I saw some video at the stadium that people were doing. He missed some wide open dudes. He was not comfortable. He was jittery all night. Didn't want to go through his progressions at all. And almost, I'm going to use the word scared. Almost looked scared back there, especially in that first half.
What the crowd noise can do to you, if you're not careful, is it speeds everything up. It speeds your heart rate up. It speeds your reads up. It speeds everything up.
Just the noise does that.
And that's why when you hear people say things slow down a little bit for quarterbacks, usually as they get a little more experience, they slow down instead of, everything's moving so fast, and I'm just going to throw the ball. You calm down a little bit. And
his throws he was overthrowing guys early. He was underthrowing guys late. He was throwing it before guys were turned around at times. But see, that's the other thing that I have with the coaching staff, if I'm going to put this out there. And I think this is a learning experience. I'm being negative on ASU, but I think this is the first time they've been tested like this. Yes, they played in a playoff. You can't tell me the playoff atmosphere wasn't more hype. Remember how they started that playoff game against Texas?
Yeah, but that's a hype game, and got to remember.
But that was a neutral field.
It was, but there are more Texas fans than ASU fans, but it wasn't like 90-10.
No, it wasn't like Mississippi State was.
Yes, it was, which is 95.
So this is the first environment for this coaching staff, for this team, in that sort of environment like that. And I think it was a big learning curve here for them going in. That wasn't going into Baylor. That wasn't going into Iowa State later on this year. That wasn't going into Kansas State at the end of last year. Completely different environment. And I think I'm going to use the term caught them off guard, but they also might not have known any better going into it from that perspective, even though I think they should have.
Well, a couple of things I do know. Number one, when they go to play Iowa State, I hope Kenny doesn't say we have to stay an hour and a half away from the field.
I was on this Twitter Spaces after the game, which I tune into every once in a while. Ralph Amsden does a good job with that. And there were people that were at the game that were coming onto there and speaking, and they were pissed about those comments.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't put it back in the bottle like you tried to do.
No.
You keep your mouth shut moving forward. Period.
So again, what I hate to do is come in here on a Monday and toot my own horn and say, I hate to tell you I told you so, but I told you so, and bottom of the SEC is better than the top of the Big 12. And
seriously, I didn't hear from one of my I know somebody that lives in Mississippi. He's an Ole Miss fan. Yes, he's toothless and is not used to indoor plumbing and all that.
And that's your buddy, huh?
Yeah, it's my buddy. Smells a little bit, has a stench to him. And
wow.
Didn't hear from him at all week long. The second ASU that touchdown hit, man, it was blow up my phone time. And I'm like, where were you at all week there, Tiger?
But what I didn't finish saying was that
because I don't want to hear this SEC.
Well, you got that, and then you got that vaunted Oklahoma State program, Mike Gundy going up to Oregon, and again, and what did the Oklahoma State and ASU have in common? The head coaches came out and said stuff in their mouth.
Yeah, but Gundy said something way worse than than Kenny Dillingham. Look, I get again. How soft of a state are you that you get mad when somebody says you don't have hotels in Starkville?
But that's how you find something to hang your hat on.
It does crack. Anywhere else, Kenny Dillingham would have said that, and they would have been like, all right.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever, dude. Sorry you have to go. Sorry you have to go an hour. Our bad. But Mississippi loses their mind on it. I mean, saying that we don't have the budget of Oregon is way more egregious. And Oregon was throwing that ball around at the end of that game like they hadn't even been to the end there, man.
69-3.
Yeah, they had starters out there longer than they should have,
and that's not Ohio State playing Grambling Tech. That's a Big 12 versus a Big 10 team.
I heard Gundy say that, man, and I was just like, "Oh, God help you, buddy." Oregon might. Like, even when you're not playing Oregon might beat you again later on in the season with how bad that was. It's just like, what are you doing? So, I mean, a lot of learning curves here, I think, for this team. Wake-up call, if you will. But the other thing you just have to, if you take the game as a whole and you didn't watch it, you go, oh, ASU almost won that thing. Look at that. But there's concerns with this team. Yeah. They are not showing up. They think they can walk on a field and win it. They don't have the toughness they had last year, and that I will attribute. Here's my hope, though. Udo, I said it in AU, I go, why isn't he playing more? And it sucks that the Brown, I have to say, the Brown that's from Mississippi, it sucks that he got injured because that would have been great homecoming for him, right? Mm-hmm. But the other Brown that plays, I do not like his running style. I said it last year. He doesn't hit the hole hard. So can Udo, which I think he's going to, by the way, mark my words, he's going to take over the Cam Scatterby role. He just puts his head down, moves guys, he hits them hard. So by the time the third quarter comes, nobody's going to want to touch him anymore, just like they did with Cam. I think he's going to be that secret weapon with the running game from that side. I'm not saying that Brown's not a good running back. He just dances too much, and and it works out. He got some big runs in the game and everything by doing that, but they're missing that physicality there that we had last year. And I think Udo from Army is going to give you that if you just got to give him the ball.
Well, he had 23 carries. Again,
most of those were on that one drive in the fourth quarter.
You rushed the ball 51 times for 251 yards. You averaged basically 5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. That's a winning formula.
Yeah.
You cannot throw the ball for 80 yards and expect to win against a quality opponent, not a top 10 program, but a quality opponent, especially on the road.
Yeah.
And when you complete 10 passes and you have 2 interceptions, that's not a recipe for success.
Sam Levitt was 5 for 15, 30 yards, 1 interception at halftime.
Yeah,
that's not a winning. No, that's not a winning game.
That's why you had 3 points.
You can blame the cover 0 all you want. You can blame whatever you want. That's not a winning formula at home, let alone on the road. 5 for 15, 30 yards in the first half. It's just not.
Against
and especially
NAU,
when you have that
against
stuff.
NAU, maybe.
Yeah.
But on the road.
Yeah, Raleigh Brown, also had 6 carries, 14 yards for him. He's just more of a dancer, and I noticed it last year. When Cam was out for that game, I was like, "Ooh, he's not the same." Doesn't make him a bad running back. I think you need those 2 change of down backs. You need that guy that will get you those, yards and maybe break one, and then you need that punishing guy to come in and just punish the crap out of the defense.
I don't have any problem with the way they ran the ball. I don't have any problem with the offensive line in run blocking. I think
pass blocking,
pass protection, a little shaky. But then again, in my mind, I'm like, obviously we're not watching the film. How much of that was because of Sam's indecision? I've told you before when you see quarterbacks stand back there and
he held on the ball
pump and kind of play. It's like, well, that means receivers aren't getting open, or you don't know where your receivers are going.
Jordan Tyson had 2 receptions for 27 yards. Cameron Harpel, 1 reception, 4 yards, and then you have Raleigh Brown. 2 catches, minus 1 yard. That's at halftime, by the way.
At halftime. I was going to say.
At halftime.
No.
But I'm sorry. I'm putting this game into 2 different categories, first half, second half, because they were 2 completely different games. I'm talking about that's halftime right there. That's not a winning formula on offense. You're not. I got news for you, folks. You're not scoring a lot of points with that formula. No. That running game, and then 2 receptions by your star receiver. And look, I said it going into the season. Jordan Tyson is going to be covered this year. He's going to have to make some spectacular catches at times this year. You need somebody else to step up and do just a quarter of what Jordan Tyson is. Just a quarter of it.
Because any defensive coordinator worth his salt is going to kick coverage over to Tyson's side and say, somebody else beat us.
Yeah, it's what is they struggled against NAU. This is why I tell people all the time, like people go, it's only NAU, don't worry about it. Lou said it. Lou hit me up on Twitter and was like, they won, didn't they? Hogwash. No. It matters how you look, no matter who you play. It matters how you look. No matter how inferior the opponent it is, it matters. And this proves you. It matters how you look. Now, here's the other side. ASU, and we'll get deeper into the game here as we keep talking, but if everybody you're going to lose those fans that just joined this year because of their run last year. You're going to lose those guys. Who cares? They're bandwagon people anyway. That's fine. Let them jump off. They'll jump back on later. One loss doesn't mean you're out of it. Yes, they're out of the AP poll. There's a lot of negative around the program right now and everything. But remember last year, they weren't playing great, and then boom, they turned it on, and they were starting to beat everybody. They went to Cincinnati and played terrible there. And lost. 9 a.m. kickoff last year. And then they just turned around and turned it up. It's not over because you lost to an SEC team at night in Mississippi.
How many times have I heard you say, though, the Diamondbacks went to the World Series a couple years ago, and that doesn't really give you any credence or love for the Diamondbacks?
No, it's not quite what I said.
It's not, yeah.
It's not quite what I said. No, just that if you remember that regular season, it wasn't great.
All I'm going to tell you is that in my mind, with what happened this past weekend, this schedule that ASU now their next 4 games, they have Texas State at home this week.
A tough game,
but a very winnable game. All of a sudden, the Baylor team, all of a sudden the Baylor team that I think everybody, hey, that's X that off as a win.
I think Baylor's in trouble this year, even though they won that game in double overtime. I think Baylor's in trouble.
Well,
SMU let them back into that game.
Well, and SMU's another top 15 team.
Well, 17.
I just think, and then you have to go to Waco.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's where you got to worry.
I got to tell you,
they're tough games on the road this year.
You got to get outside of Waco to find a hotel. It's not a Days Inn or a Motel 6.
Here's the problem: if they play like this, you go to Utah. Anybody watching what Utah's doing?
The 4 games, then you got TCU at home and Utah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, wow, are you going 2-2 in those games?
Yeah, that's where it's over.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, your first half of the schedule, you've lost 3 games.
Remember I said earlier, and I go, it's going to be interesting to see how the crowd base reacts because they're not duplicating what they did last year. I told you guys that going into this. It depends if you compare them to last year, this year is going to be a disappointment and everything. So it's interesting to see how the crowds reacted to that. A lot of level-headedness. I'm not going to lie to you. On that Twitter Spaces, I was shocked at the level-headedness of the fans on there. You're going to lose those fringe people. Like I saw people going, they'll go to the playoffs. Like, week 2 of the season, man. You're not out of anything yet. You win the rest of your games, you're not out of the playoffs, right? So, but that's the problem.
Well, you might because I think SEC is going to get 6, and I think Big Ten will get 5.
Just put every SEC team
in. And then Big 12 champion might get in.
I can't. Well, that's what I mean. The Big 12 champion is going to be the only one that gets in. The 12 this year, so we'll see. Don't forget it's expanded, right? My favorite part about this SEC literally played nobody this weekend, and we're putting except for Florida, and we're putting all these teams in. Get out of here. Bethune-Cook and all these other. It's like, get out of here with that stuff.
Is that what Feinbaum is saying? No SEC team played any ranked opponent?
Dad Homer. He's the SEC guy I can't stand the most. I'll put up with most SEC fans because they're fans, but that guy says he's a journalist. I'm not biased. Okay, buddy, settle down, Tiger.
Do you think that people in the SEC think ASU is a quality opponent?
No. I can tell you the answer to that. No, because I saw the text afterwards. Even your boy Tony Romo said it on the broadcast yesterday. The worst SEC team is still in the SEC. Get out of here. Get out of here, you clown. The reason you're famous is because you were mediocre for the Cowboys. Settle down, Tiger. Settle down there, Tiger. Come on back. We'll keep talking the ASU game as well. Some other things we need to talk about. Does Dale go for the field goal at the end? Okay, I normally don't care about this conversation because, of course, you kicked that field goal. But I have a secondary point I'd like to make and see how Dale feels about it. Come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here. Main event.
On a glorious Monday.
Well, at least Cardinals won. Made us feel a little bit better today, right? I just can't get over that game last night. I put it out on Twitter, and look, it's just, I get it, Cardinals fans, and some of you are super negative today, even though they won in New Orleans, and I listened to the Collins show afterwards. I always listen to those to gauge what fans say, the drunk fans say right after the games. I do it ASU. I do it, of course, Cardinals as well. And just the negativity from just the host yesterday was just like, what? And I heard him this morning. He's filling in for Bickley this morning. I heard him. He's just negative, and it's like, you won a game in New Orleans, man. Cardinals don't win their first game of the year.
No.
And they went and they're 1-0. And their stars all came and performed. That's the other thing that when we talk Cardinals, stars performed. Unlike at ASU, where the stars faltered. Cardinals, everybody on the Cardinals, that's supposed to be good. You'd like to hear Josh Sweat's name a little bit more.
Yeah, that was eerily quiet.
That whole, I'm a little worried about Cardinals. They got dominated by the Saints line on both sides. The trenches did not go the Cardinals' way yesterday.
Right.
And stuff like that. We'll talk Cardinals coming up as well, but we're talking ASU here, of course. We talked the cover zero, which drives me nuts, right, and that stuff. We talked about, the way they played the first half. There's just no other to say than that was god-awful terrible. Sam Leavitt looked scared, looked like he didn't know what he was doing. This is the first time we've seen Sam Leavitt. He struggled last year in the Mississippi State game, but not to this level, to where you couldn't figure it out. It took the coaches till the second half to figure out to run the football. And I don't know why. I don't know why it's taking them so long. Is this the situation, Dale? Going into this season, Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson are two best players. We're going to rely on them. And then just being boneheaded and sticking to it until you just get decimated in the first half, and then you go to the running. The running game is the strength of this Arizona State football team. If you didn't notice that the other night, I don't know what you were watching. You're not going to play bigger, faster guys than what you did against Mississippi State this year as a whole, being in the SEC. No Big Ten team is going to be built like that. Take the talent, and all that stuff. Or Big 12 team is going to be built like that. And you dominated them. Run the damn football.
Well,
but at the same time, mix in a pass every once in a while.
Well, that's the thing. If you run the ball early, then that opens up play action. And that opens up, hey, we got to commit more to stop the run. That opens up passing lanes.
Those safeties start, those linebackers start inching in. Those safeties start coming down a little bit, and all of that stuff. Robert just tagged me, and I saw a lot of people talking about this. Remember that practice where Kenny was like, a lot of teams go 6-6. A lot of teams go 5 and whatever. We can do that too. Is that what we want to do? A lot of Robert just tagged me on that too, saying this could be Kenny foreshadowing the upcoming season. This ASU team is good, folks. This team is good. You could see the talent on the field second half on. You could see the talent.
Yes.
I think the coaching staff has to figure it out themselves. I'm starting to think this coaching staff went Heisman candidate, best wide receiver in the nation over here in Jordan Tyson. We're going to force that to work. Instead of going, where's our strength? That strength is going to open up those guys on that side. And I think early in the season, even against NAU, they were forcing a lot of throws and stuff like that. I think this coaching staff needs to come to the realization where their strength is. This is our game plan. We'll fund it out from there. And then that'll open up Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson, to be better at what they do. But forcing them to do it is not the way to go. That's my early 2-game thoughts on Arizona State. Coaching staff, quite frankly, needs to be better.
And again, I don't think you're going to face an environment like that. Iowa State is passionate about their football. But,
that's going to be a crazy place to play.
But it's not going to be like Starkville.
It's not, yeah.
Starkville takes – what else do they have to take pride in Mississippi? They take pride in bringing cowbells.
Yeah, they're polishing their cowbells.
And distracting.
The worst part is how did they know where their cows were when they all took their cowbells? Some of those cowbells had some serious – you see them? They were like dancing with them. They were like not
Steve.
just going doo-doo. They were like turning them upside down and doing like dances with them. And I was just like, what?
Steve, I did a Mississippi State game a few years ago. They're doing that for 3 hours before the game.
That's the thing.
I'm like, how on earth can you stand it?
That's it. If I was in those stands, I would have lost my mind. I have a hard time with that guy that yells next to me all game long. It's like, sit down, take a break for a couple plays there, Tiger. And they're doing the cowbells and everything. So I mean, like I said, it might sound like I'm being super negative. I think this team's going to be all right if the coaching staff sets the tone with where they need to set it at and they figure out this, how to deal with it. Sticking to Sam Levitt throwing that football, even down 17 in the first half, was a gigantic mistake for them. You could tell he had no rhythm. You could tell he was struggling. How do you get a quarterback into rhythm? How do you get him to settle down? Go to the running game and give him some time off, I guess you can say, right? Some lack of, so he's not pushing and pushing and pushing. So,
right.
So the big question I have for you, Dale, here, end of the game, right? You literally drive the field. And look, they were dominating it. I get running the ball 3 times in the middle. But as we all know, it gets harder and harder and harder closer you get to the end zone. So they could have stuck the linebackers in there to help out that defensive line in a goal line situation because there's not a ton of field to cover. The cornerbacks can cover a 10-yard area pretty effectively, right? And that stuff. So I wasn't enamored with the play calling there on the whatever it was, half-yard line or whatever. And full disclosure, before I make this point, Dale, they should have kicked the field goal. I even said it. Kick the field goal, take the lead. Your defense has been playing well. And then you just have to hold them to a field goal. Just don't let them score a touchdown. That was the right move to do in all sort of football lexicon. That's how I feel. Your thoughts?
Again, when you have 4 opportunities or 3 opportunities and you don't get it, I understand. Kicking the field goal, yes. And now it's not like a field goal is going to get you beat.
Yes, that's what I mean. You had the lead.
If a field goal is going to get you beat, give you a 1-point lead or a 2-point lead.
A touchdown, though, and an extra point, they could go down and go for 2 and lose it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you also may not score the way the
and then they have the ball with no timeouts.
Yeah.
And they have to go 99 and a half. If you lose that way, that's another situation too, right? In my eyes, if you can't stop them in that situation. Here's what I was thinking about after the game, because after the game I was sitting in my office and at home and I was going through some stuff, and ironically enough, the audio that came up was from Monday or Tuesday of last week's Kenny Dillingham's press conference, and he was like, "Look, I'm just aggressive. I'm going to always be aggressive. We're always going to do things aggressively." And I went, ding. The one time you weren't aggressive and you kicked a field goal?
I do remember him saying that. I do remember us talking about it. Last year, you were aggressive most of the time because you had no other choice.
Okay.
And now you got a field goal kicker who can make 50-yard field goals.
He's so lackadaisical when he's lining up that I'm just like, oh dear God.
It's like one of those pro golfers you see him swinging clubs. Like, oh, that ball's gonna go about 230. Yeah. It goes 340.
I know. So here's my question for you, because you've been in that environment. Your whole coaching, your whole warm up, your whole preseason is all built around we're going to be an aggressive team. All you hear from your coaching staff is how aggressive you're going to be. How aggressive you're going to be. That whole goal line situation was as conservative can be. What does that do for you as a player when you're like, well, we're aggressive. We're an aggressive team. We're an aggressive team. And they're like, all right, guys, I'm going to go conservative here. It was a question that I raised in the Twitter Spaces, and everybody told me to shut up. I mean, they were nicer about it, but it was like, no, you can't. No, don't get me wrong. The number one thing in football you do is you take, especially on the road, you take those points and you run off. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is Kenny Dillingham prides himself on being aggressive. Earlier in the game, he could have kicked a field goal and decided to go for it. They ended up converting on it instead of taking the 3 points when they were getting just disabled there in the first half.
Right.
And he was aggressive then. What does that do for you? Does it do anything for you as a team where your whole existence is how aggressive we're going to be, and then your coach goes, yeah, we're not going to be aggressive here?
It's hard to argue with the situation, the score on the road, taking the lead. It's hard to argue with that.
I don't disagree.
As an offensive lineman, the way you've been pounding the rock the entire second half, you want an opportunity. But then you look at it, and you really had 3 chances to get it in, and you didn't.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the hard part. This is the hard part I got. That was the right move. Kicking that field goal was 100% the right move.
Right.
But you have a head coach that says we're just going to be aggressive. He will go for it on 4th down on his own side of the football field and not think twice about it. And in this moment, he went, let's just kick it. Move on.
I'm also thinking you take the game into account. There's a game you played horrendously in the first half.
Yeah, and you have a chance to steal it.
And you have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
I have a hard time coming down on him.
I'm not. Well, that's the thing. I'm not coming down on him. It's just I just wonder,
Because guess what? If in fact they kick the field goal, they kick off, they stop Mississippi State. You're going, hey, that's the way you finish off the game.
Yeah.
But
okay, so because I was pretty critical of the coaching staff in the first half, and then that clap, the clap cadence, not being prepared for that. The lack of realizing running the football was what was going to keep them in this game and get them back into this game. They were late to figure that out, and I was critical of them on that side. I should also be non-critical for them for not being aggressive in that situation.
But the thing that can confuse you a little bit is, so you're non-aggressive, you kick the field goal, you kick off, and then also you go cover 0.
And then you go super aggressive again.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's where I was leading you to.
It's a little confusing.
You caught on to it. This is my argument. I'm confused, and I'm just sitting at home watching it. The players are like, wait, are we being aggressive now, or are we not being aggressive now? What are we doing? Can that mess with you as a player in this, or is it just play calls in? Or do you go, okay, so now we're going to be super aggressive on this play here when we can just hold them to a field goal? It's just, last year you just knew they were going to be aggressive, period, end of story. It was like, hey, it's a 30-yard field. They're going for this on 4th down. Hey, they're at their own 30-yard. They're going for this on 4th down. Like, you just knew it was coming.
But how much does a capable field goal kicker play?
Well, I don't disagree. But again, he was saying this year, his whole conversation was, I'm just going to be aggressive. I'm just going to be aggressive. But you weren't aggressive in that one spot, but then you went back to aggressive. Can that send a message?
No, I don't think it's going to mess with the players. But what I do think it's going to do is the coaches now have to get together and figure out, well, why do we call cover 0 in that?
Yeah.
Now, again,
they did it last year. That's how they lost that Texas game, remember?
If somebody doesn't blow an assignment, then that isn't the big play.
But you got to if you watch that play, I understand why that assignment was blown. Mississippi State, and by the way, they were successful on that play earlier in the game as well. I understand. The whole point of that Mississippi play is to confuse those 2 defensive backs, and then you find the guy that gets left behind. One of those 2 guys is going to be left behind, and then you find him out there is what you do. It was a perfect play call for that situation. It's just I don't get all this hype of aggressiveness. No, but at the same time, I go, well, good. This coaching staff realizes there's times not to be aggressive. But they don't realize it at the end of the game yet. They realize in that situation, kick the field goal, take the lead. We won't be aggressive there. Now they just got to figure it out on the defensive side when not to be aggressive.
It's fascinating because you think of football, and it's played once a week. And that feeds into the machine too, because
yes,
like
it does.
baseball is like, okay, you talk for 5 minutes about the previous night's game, and boom, you're on to another game today.
Yeah, we've already forgotten that they played the Red Sox over the weekend.
And in football, it's like, okay, we're going to talk about it today. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow a little bit.
Well, because Kenny's going to talk today, right? So we're going to kind of get it. Here's Kenny Dillingham after the game talking about his team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought our guys responded great in this football game. We're one play away from this press conference being an unbelievable comeback. And that's football, though, right? And that's what I say all the time, is it's about the moments in the game, and it's about winning the close games. And like I said, we're one play away from this from this being a completely different narrative. And I think to the guys, it's not letting the result create an emotional response to how we're going to move forward. At the end of the day, you play the football game or you play the football game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We have to take what we did good and how we played and how we responded, a 21-point run, and we have to build off that, not the one play at the end of the game. Yeah, it's going to affect our win-loss column, but it can't affect our future games. And I think sometimes you have emotional losses like this and things can roller coaster. Like I told the guys, we gotta have a good football team. We played really well there in the second half. We got to build off that. And we got to go back and respond. We got 10 more weeks out of us.
You've heard me talk about offensive linemen, and when I come in, when I'm 38, 39, 40 years old playing for the Cowboys, I see these 22-year-old dudes come in 6'5", 320, bench press this house.
Yeah, and they're fast.
and they're fast and all that. And here I am, 39 years old and wrinkly and old. And you find out real quick the ones who – again, make a mistake and then let that mistake build into another mistake and then another mistake.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that he was talking about, and that is so true. You came back. Yes, you played horribly the first half. The second half, you did a lot of good things, but you can't let this loss carry over to next week.
And we're going to know next week.
Yes, but you won't know until next week.
The only guy I'm worried about going into this game this weekend is Sam Levitt. Yeah. Other than that, I think everybody else, the way they played that second half, if they would have played the whole game out, they would have blown Mississippi State out. That game was a victory. They would have won by 2 touchdowns if they would have played that second half like they played that first half. And I think that's the saving grace here, but the guy I'm worried about the most is Sam Levitt.
It's one of those things where it's just stark reminders. I know we'll get into the Cardinals game and all that, but a guy named Spencer Rattler one year was a Heisman Trophy candidate at Oklahoma and ended up getting benched.
Like game 3 or 4, right? Yeah, Russell Wilson's about to get Spencer Rattlered in New York. It's an amazing thing, and I think the reason why Kenny was kind of smiling there, I mean, you have to be proud of this ASU team, the way they came back. Any other team playing that way in the first half was going to get boat raced in the second half. You've seen it 1,000 times around here. And they came out and they put an effort up and they got back in to almost steal one at that point. Not that it's good that they lost, but if you project it out into the future, I think this is a huge learning thing for them. And I'll tell you this, if they come out against Texas State and struggle at the beginning of this game, alarm bells go off galore. Because there's something wrong with this team. This weekend is the key. If they come out in that first quarter in Texas State and we're going, holy cow, start selling tickets, folks.
And you won't know until Saturday.
I know. We're going to have to sit there. 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, no less.
That's a late one for Stevie.
Yes, it is. I'm not. And then Cardinals Sunday.
Oh, we got the doubleheader.
Yeah. Next Monday, I might need a nap before we go on air. Come on back, folks. We'll keep it rolling. I'll get you updated on Arizona's win as well because they have an interesting stat here for them. Are they good? Come on back, folks. Main event. Robert says the Cows were outside the stadium. They rode them to the game.
I don't know where I missed that memo that says you can do it all through the play because I know as of 5 years ago, as soon as either the center's hand was on the ball or you broke the huddle. So the NCAA doesn't allow any noisemakers in any stadium.
The SEC in 2019, the SEC was fining Mississippi State $25,000 when they rang their cowbell, like any time, because you're not supposed to have them. So they came to an agreement, right, because of tradition, because it's a 100-year tradition. They have the cowbells in there. So they came to an agreement. There's actually an SEC bylaw in the SEC rules that allows them to have, but they are to stop it when the center goes over the ball until the play is dead. And the only penalty that there is a ref can throw a 15-yard penalty if it's too noisy once the center's over the ball till the play is dead. And they don't ever do it. That's a judgment call at that point. There's no penalty. Now they can get fined afterwards. So what I don't get is if it's a close game and you're Mississippi State, what do you care if the opponent? I guess they can eventually take them away and not force you not to go in there, and then you have a bunch of Mississippians revolting against you. I don't know how good that is.
You wonder if it's just that's how it is when you play an SEC school, or if you play a non-conference school.
No. The SEC bylaw specifically states Mississippi State can do this. Like Georgia can't just show up with cowbells and start ringing them. They're not allowed to do that stuff. So, but yeah, the NCAA as a whole, you can't take any noisemakers in. Period. Like that's the general rule. So, and how they work that stuff out there. Hey, Dale, as you know, I started working out again, getting back in the gym, and it's always embarrassing when these videos get out there and everything. But I'd like to, I was just at the gym the other day, EOS Fitness, just doing my thing, and some guy walks up to me, and he's like, hey, how you doing, man? And I go, good. He goes, you know what? He goes, I was working out here, and I just, just wanted to just see how many weights I can put on this bar and everything. And he goes, can you help me like put it up? And I'm like, yeah, I can probably help you put that up. No big deal. I can do that for you, And he goes, well, it's only 510 kilograms. And I was like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool. I'll come help you. So I went over and, I helped him move it. And somebody recorded me, and it's just embarrassing when this stuff gets out there, Dale. Here we are, me at the gym.
The Mutant Deadlift World Championships, and Hafthor Bjornsson is strapping to the bar to try to make history here.
Here's the guy at the gym telling me to help him out.
Weight ever raised in the history.
I found it weird he was just sitting down instead of helping me. Dale.
Here we go.
Let's go, Thor. Let's go, Thor. Come on. Make some noise. World record.
Bjornsson of Iceland, 510 kilograms. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
Well, I did it pretty easy, Dale.
And the first thing that comes to mind when you look
how many
at
belts he
that
has on, Dale?
is the fact that was easy. Ladies and gentlemen, look upon the mountain. Look upon Hafthor Julius Bjornsson of Iceland. Brother, that was...
Look at the crowd in there, man. 510 kilograms is how many pounds, Dale? Did you do the math on those 45s he had on that bad boy?
No, but did you?
Well, I found out later after I lifted it. 1,124 pounds. World record deadlift there. That's the mountain, if you don't know. He's on Game of Thrones and professional, obviously. Me and him have a lot of things in common.
It brought back bad memories of being in college when I saw those straps.
Did you? How many belts? Yeah, I know when you wrap them around there. So
yeah. Because get this, at SMU we had this strongest man competition, and you'd max out on bench, squat, deadlift.
Did you do the balls and everything? The big boulders?
No, just bench, squat, deadlift.
Yeah.
I thought there was one other one, maybe clean.
There has to be something else.
And then
I thought it was cool.
And then the 10 guys by weight and strength had a lift off. And so to do that, it was measured in reps. And for deadlift, it was 500 pounds. For squat, it was 400 pounds. For bench, it was 300 pounds.
So that was
Double.
2 times what you guys did at SMU.
But I did 500 pounds probably 15 times, but they were the rubber weights where you could throw them down.
Yeah.
Get a jump start on the.
Yeah, you use momentum to help you out.
It's been so long since I put a wrist wrap on. Oh.
Yeah, no, he had like 3 belts on, and then he had like that thing
body thing.
Yeah, it was just like, oh dear God. The thing that struck me the most, first of all, Robert says, "Never knew you were the mountain." Yeah, I keep it quiet, Robert. My alter ego, I keep it quiet. I'm just embarrassing at EOS Fitness that they got that on video. That's what I'm saying. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
1,124 pounds, and he did it fairly easily.
No, he didn't even look like he was straining.
I'm like, can he put more on there?
I think he could.
But man, that looked to me like, legs and everything. Like that looks just like a serious back injury waiting to happen. The way he lifted those.
Yeah,
things.
in about 25 years.
He's not a young guy anymore.
When he's walking around like me.
I saw that over the weekend. The crowd was like, the stadium was packed there, and everybody was cheering. Wonder what else they did on that event.
I was telling this, like, is there some buddies or maybe with Holmberg? I used to be a pretty strong dude. I mean, but we didn't one rep max, so you could choose on bench. When I was at the Cowboys, when I was in my early 30s, pick 315, 365, or 405. And you did how many reps you could. Yeah. And they had a chart that kind of equated whatever. So I chose 365, and I actually did it 14 times one year. And it equated to whatever.
That's so much weight. That's double me, Dale.
And we'll let that slide. And now I go to the gym, and seriously, all I do is the machines. Yeah. And then literally, when I'm done with my set, I look around, see everybody's looking, and I move the pin all the way down.
Because I've been going with Autumn lately, like for like the last week or whatever. And it's funny too, because I'm like, I'm just gonna slide this down to 60, 70, and then I go to do it, and I'm like, oh, yeah. All right, let's smooth that up a little bit. Like I used to be able to do that. Now I'm like, never mind. Let's move that up a little bit. It does crack you up there, but yeah, congratulations to the mountain.
Yes, congratulations. And again, like you said, it looked like he had another 100 pounds.
That's the thing. I'm like, is that one of those things where you go, let's throw an extra 10 on there? Yeah. See what happens.
Or maybe he wants to just slowly move on. I'll set another world record.
Like, what do you have to do to prepare? Yeah, I don't want to beat the world record by too much. Yeah. What do you have to do to prepare for that is my question. Are you just lifting all day long to get more muscle? Or are you, like, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm sure. Just like bodybuilders, they have all these routines and diets and, probably all carved up and whatever just for that.
That's the thing. He walks off with shakes his protein shake up and sucks on it.
No, he probably walks to the bathroom.
I hope he just did it right there. That's why he had the bodysuit on, kept all the fluids inside of it, Dale.
All right. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you. Guys, I couldn't figure out why that guy needed my help. Now I know. It's a little heavy. I went home and cried after that for a while. Just cried by myself.
I'm just telling you, when you do weights that heavy, that there are things that can happen to your body. We'll leave it at that.
That's what you said it cleaner than I said it. That's what I was alluding to. It's like the hot dog eating contest, folks. You don't want to be around Joey Chestnut about an hour afterwards, 30 minutes afterwards, right? College rivalries are an amazing thing. We all know that, right? But if you don't know about the border war, Kansas and Missouri, it's a hated one. There's a lot of swear words involved in that rivalry. Right. I don't know why they hate each other so much for football, because they're both terrible. But they played over the weekend and everything. And then it was at Missouri there, right? So halfway between St. Louis and Kansas City, Missouri is where they are, Columbia. And then, of course, Kansas over, just across basically, an hour outside of Kansas City, roughly. Over there is Kansas. And they hate each other. Why? We don't know. Somebody stole a cow at one point.
Why do ASU and Arizona hate each other?
Because Arizona tried to keep ASU down, and they didn't want us to be a university.
You back when you were Tempe Normal?
Those cowards back then. We were the Bulldogs back then.
How would you like? I play for Tempe Normal.
I know. I'm a Bulldog.
Okay.
So you have that going on. So Missouri brings out a fan like you do in these situations, and they bring a fan on under the field. Chance to win $25,000 if he kicks. I think it's like a 40-yard field goal, 45-yard field goal, something like that.
What?
He can win $25,000
For a 40-yard, you know how far that is for a layman?
The ball's at the 35-yard line.
That's
So
a 45-yard field
yeah,
goal.
it's 47, right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the snap.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, some girl's holding it. This is the weird part. So they bring him out there and everything, and this is how big of a rivalry this is. Let's see if you guys catch on what he does here. The legend of Missouri football here. Check out what happens. So underneath his shirt there, he lifts it up and it says FKU. He just kicks the ball toward the Kansas sideline. He just holds his shirt up at the Kansas sideline. FKU. He walks off.
Well, there's two ways
College
to look at that.
rivalries. He knew he wasn't going to make the 47-yard field gool.
Hey, a 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, that's long.
I mean, everybody thinks, oh, that's so easy to do that stuff. I mean, a 15-yard field goal.
Yeah. Usually you're like at the 20-yard line or something is where you're kicking it. Yeah, that's the thing. He knew he wasn't going to make that.
No.
But, I mean, he had FKU under, and then kicks it toward the side. I think that's brilliant. The guy legend there. And then his friends get to the sideline and he goes, man, you could have used that $25,000. He's like, you know what? FKU.
So what about our beer this evening?
Yeah, exactly. Can't afford it now, guys. I was really looking forward to that $25K. Geez. So over the weekend as well, SMU lost to Baylor. That was one of the upsets this weekend out there. Oklahoma did beat Michigan, even though by standings, that's an upset, but I don't know very many people that thought Michigan. Did you see the freshman quarterback in Michigan starting fights there on the sideline with his players?
Yeah.
Michigan's in trouble coming up. I know that stuff happens on sidelines, but when you're the quarterback and your players have to pull players off away from you, that's not a good sign.
What's worse,
on a
getting in an
sideline.
argument with your teammates or with your head coach?
If you're the quarterback, your teammates.
Okay.
Head coach and you. Who did that? I know somebody did that.
Dayball.
Oh, that's right, Dayball. Yeah.
Anyway, it was actually neighbors, not the quarterback.
Yeah, it was neighbors. Yeah. Yeah. And then did you see Dayball try to hug him and make it good? Yeah, Dayball. I said week 6 Dayball's going to be fired. Move that up a little bit. Might be week 2 or 3 here coming up for him in his douchey sunglasses. By the way, we talk NFL heavy on Tuesdays. Let the Monday Night Football game get in there and everything. Arizona did win. Huge weather delay down there. Good for them. Now, they didn't go start playing and then have a weather delay. They just sat around the locker room for an extra hour or so for that weather delay to happen there. But here's the stat on Arizona. Now they played Weber State. I call them Weber State because I've just always have.
Weber Grills.
I just Ogden, Utah is not my favorite place on the planet. It's cleaned up a lot. But it's.
Have you spent time there?
I've spent a lot of time in Salt Lake City, and then it's just north.
Okay.
And I've always hated it. It's cleaned up a little bit. I'll give them credit for that.
Okay.
But anyway,
You digress.
yes, Arizona is one of 2 FBS teams that hasn't allowed a touchdown yet this season.
Look out, baby. Wildcats are coming. Could they be this year's ASU?
They're going to eventually play somebody. Hawaii's 2-1. They did beat a good Hawaii team.
Yeah.
Because Hawaii's that kickers. Did you see they had decided not to let the kicker kick the game-winning field goal, and they went and got a touchdown instead?
I did not see
Yeah,
that. I'm sorry. I'm not too intrigued by Hawaii just yet.
You're not watching Hawaii yet?
Not yet.
It's your loss. I did not stay up for the Hawaii game. I'm not going to lie to you either from that side. But, yeah, so look at Arizona's defense. Go.
Okay.
I mean, they played Hawaii, Weber State. They have Kansas State this weekend. Kansas State don't look good. Kansas State's fans are blaming the trip to Ireland for their missteps this season. They almost lost last week, right? And then they did lose this week to Army.
Army, look out for the Black Knights.
So I don't have the exact stat in front of me. I was paying attention to that game. Army Kansas State had the ball with like something like 3 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then they gave the ball back to Army, and they didn't see the ball again the rest of the game. Army just methodically took that ball and just wasted the clock as they drove down the field. Kind of like that last ASU drive as well. AP Top 25 is here as well. Let's throw that up for everybody. AP Top 25, more of the favorite one. Your top guys generally stay the same. Obviously, Oregon dismantling Oklahoma State. Moves them up 2 spots. Georgia down 2 spots, even though they won. It's weird for an SEC team to move down with the win.
See, everybody's out to get the SEC.
Clemson, this is what I don't get. Clemson loses their first game, look terrible in their second game, and they only move down 4 more spots. What are we giving all this? Clemson does not look good, folks. They only moved down 4 spots to that 12th spot. Who's missing on this list here? Iowa State moves up. You have to get through the 11 SEC teams on this ranking here, Dale.
11 of them.
11 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And only 12 playoff teams, huh?
Room for one other team out
Somebody
there.
gets screwed.
Arizona State's removed completely from this poll. The voters also agree that Arizona State doesn't look good.
Well, they don't look good, but that's a little harsh, though, don't you think?
Welcome to being a Big 12 team on the outside and not looking well against your teams. I mean, well, here's the problem. Here's my problem with it. Yes, it's harsh at this point, but mainly because, like Michigan, they dropped 8 spots. Why is Michigan in this ranking still? They could have dropped out. Auburn hasn't played anybody, and they're 2-0. What are they doing on this list, you know?
Well, people will argue the fact that ASU hasn't played anybody.
South Florida, well, sure. Well, they played an SEC team. I thought that was supposed to mean something. South Florida vaulting all the way up to 18th because they beat Florida. And who thought Florida was going to be back? Every year we go through Florida's back this year. Florida's going to be back. And they always suck. Terrible people. Terrible, Florida. Can I say it's some more terrible? We always say they're back. Same thing with Clemson. I don't get that side, what they do either. Why does Notre Dame have a bye week in week 2? Was that first game a little too rough for them against Clemson or against who they play? They play Clemson, right? Yeah. No, they didn't. Who'd they play?
Hey, if you're
LSU?
gonna diss Notre Dame,
They played
at
LSU?
least know who they played.
Well, the problem is they played 2 weeks ago. Why do you need a bye week after that opening week? Was it too difficult? I mean, what you do is you do like every other SEC team out there. You play some raggedy old ratchet team your second week to get into the polling.
They got somebody big this week.
Notre Dame does?
Yeah,
Do they really?
yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. And then the coaches poll is next up. Coaches know what they're talking about. All the people that vote for the coaches, they know what's up. Arizona State's still 24th year. Moved down 14 spots, obviously, but they're still ranked 24th year. For them, see, this is more respectable. South Florida is only 23rd. You don't get a jump all the way up to 18th because you beat a crappy Florida team. Florida was ranked 13th because they're an SEC school. They're not good, folks. They're not good. So this is more a respectful poll here. I like this one better. Coaches know what they're talking about.
Yeah, the SIDs.
Yes,
voted for 'em.
whoever the intern on the team voting on them and stuff like that. Except for Clemson only going down 3 spots there to 11th. I don't get the Clemson.
Jeez,
Clemson hype.
Louise.
And I'd like to thank the recruiting coordinator for following me on Twitter over the weekend, thinking I can give you some Tate Reynolds info. No, nobody would tell me.
Texas A&M. That's in Notre Dame.
That's right. That's this
Texas
weekend.
A&M.
Forgot that was this weekend.
Yeah.
Good for them. Keep it up. Keep
Or
playing
Notre
hard.
Dame, that tough schedule that they have to play. ASU's on TNT this week.
Yes, I got my TNT app. Oh, I'm be at the game. Never mind. I'm like, my TNT app sucks. I'll be at the game. Never mind. Throw up the week 2 results here, Dale. We both suck because we picked our home teams. We picked our teams out there. The SMU Mustangs and the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Wow.
Womp, womp.
I'm surprised that you didn't go with Michigan.
No. Going down to Oklahoma, I thought Michigan had. Now that I see the freshman quarterback, and his drama. I have no faith in Michigan, actually. I think they're overranked. I don't like their coach. I think their talent level's dropping because of their coach. It's not Harbaugh, and I think they're going to be going for a slide here pretty soon from there. But look at that, our teams. Your Mustangs, go Mustangs, and ASU being the problem here. 3-2 for both of us. So you still have a 1-game lead because I picked UCLA that 1 week. How in the world of NIL, man? How do you think Tennessee's like? Oh, thank God we didn't pay that guy and we kicked him out of school. Because Nico's terrible. They just lost to UNLV. They were down big. They did come back a little bit, but they're down big, and he looks atrocious. Hope that money's worth it, buddy, Nico, because that's all you're getting, Tiger. Not getting that NFL paycheck.
I'm sorry, soon. Big Ten team losing to UNLV. That doesn't.
No, but it's Dan Mullins, SEC, longtime SEC head coach, Dale. Dan Mullins. Mullins. From there. So that wraps up college football talk for us. Of course, we'll get into some NFL stuff. Cardinals coming up here as well. But first, really quick on the Diamondbacks. I know we talked on it earlier, quietly, right? Because football season started. 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. There's no doubt about it. Diamondbacks overall are playing better here in the last several weeks. We've been talking about it here. It's saving Torrey's job. Torrey's going to be back with this team. Unless Mike Hazen also gets the boot. It's the only chance you got, folks. So brace yourself for this coming up, for Torrey coming back and everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're 500 now. They're 72-72. And the way you're going to look at it, if you're the upper hierarchy of the Diamondbacks, hey, we traded away 3 or 4 of our best players. We've had injuries galore.
And a lot of those injuries aren't playing next year.
Yeah, and yet we're sitting there at 500, playing hard. And that's what a lot of people measure things on. Are you going to play for the coach, or are you going to just shut her down?
I'd be okay if they give him a 1-year extension for next year. I will not be okay if they give him a 3 to 4 year extension. That's where you'll see me lose my mind. You could see what he does next year because you're not getting those big names back next year. So see what he does next year and set up for 2027.
And the chances are you're not going to go spend a lot of money on other guys, too.
Well,
they're paying these guys.
They've already said they're going to I don't think they used the term shrink the payroll, but they said, they're not going to spend as much. Right. All right. That's how they phrase that. But here's the thing. Diamondback starting pitchers, 6 straight quality starts now. Of course, Ryan Nelson yesterday, he deserved that. I saw a stat somewhere where he has the most I don't know how you phrase it. I don't know how they phrase it, but he has when he leaves the mound, he's left the mound 7 times this year with the lead, with a big enough lead that he should win the game, and they've blown it on him. He leads the league in that, whatever that stat is called for him. But 6 innings pitched yesterday, 1 earned run. Fought 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Rodriguez 6 innings pitched, 1 run. 18 innings, 3 earned runs from the starters, and you only go 2 and 3. And when you need to go 3 and 3 if you want to stay in this playoff hunt coming up. So that's the problem, is they're just running out of time. Mets are atrocious. But the problem is you got to pass a couple other guys out there as well. To the point of how bad the Mets are, Dale, as I pull this up here. The other thing is we went into this series, and I went, oh, man, Aroldis Chapman, is if you get to him, you're in a lot of trouble. And they were able to avoid him for 2 straight games.
Right.
Yesterday they saw him, though. Yeah. Last time he's given up a hit, July 23rd for Aroldis Chapman. He is now at 50 consecutive batters. He is retired. Now, he does walk people. Like Diamondbacks got walks. He walked somebody yesterday. So he walked. It's the hit side of it. But 50 consecutive batters there is what he's got up there without giving up a hit and stuff like that. July 23rd was the last time he gave up a hit. He's like 37, 38 years old, too. And he's been thrown on the heap a few times now that his career's over and nobody wants him.
Well, it's still, we talked about it last week, I remember, it's still amazing that, the last year or so, he's now looking at targets and scouting reports and things like that where he just used to go out there and throw. And that's kind of crazy at whatever age he is now, that now he's getting better at that. Well, he's finding out. He just got signed to
Yeah,
another year extension.
Yeah,
right?
even the Red Sox were like, yeah, I guess we'll keep you for another year. Isn't that amazing? You'd kill for a guy like this. He's a little, I'll put it weird. Locker rooms tend to struggle with him at times and stuff like that. So we did end up seeing him in yesterday's game for Chapman. New York Mets odds, even though of how they're playing, their odds to capture the wild card berth there, because they're really the only one still available. Because Giants and Diamondbacks both lost yesterday. So the Mets odds to get that wild card berth, 93.4%. Mets are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to lose in the first wild card round in massive fashion. On that, so throw up the NL wild card standings, and this is what's disappointing. Man, they'd be 3.5 up if they would have won yesterday. Diamondbacks.
They would have, but again, if you're going to go back and do that math, I mean, how many blown saves have they had, blown leads, and all that?
But my argument is, though, your starting pitcher pitches that well, and I know you have a bullpen issue and stuff like that, but your starting pitcher pitches that well, 6 innings, 1 earned run, and you can't finish out that game. It just continues to be that disappointment, right? But that's the problem. You're not passing the Reds. You have to pass the Reds and the Giants in order to get, and I know you're only half a game behind them, but you got to make this big run here. And look, I'll give the Diamondbacks credit. They've kept this interesting. They've kept this to where they could easily be like the Marlins and the Braves that are just, they were in it and now they're 10 games out. The Diamondbacks could have done that, and they've kept this to the point where you're still paying attention to them, especially as football season started. Normally, first weekend of football, if you're not in it, I'm not paying attention to you if you're baseball. I put baseball aside for the first weekend, and I had to pay attention to them this weekend because of the way they're playing and where they're at from that side as well. So,
and then you, again, add the fact that they were sellers at the trade deadline, and you add injuries to the factor. And, again, you got to tip your cap. Sitting there at 500. They have a legitimate chance of finishing above 500, which was unheard of.
Yeah. And if you do that, I'll say Torrey has to come back if you finish above 500.
Right.
Simple. He's going to. I don't know. They don't need my word on it as well, right? Then you've got, of course, then you got the Giants. You have the Giants for 6 games before the end of the season. You have a chance to basically eliminate the Giants from being in front of you for the rest of for this season. You have 6 games coming up against them. 3 here coming up. Tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and then you got Thursday off, and then you got to go to Minnesota, which that's going to be a tough outing there because Minnesota's Twins they're not good as either in terms of Minnesota, but it's on the road, right, from that perspective and everything. So you can pass the Giants. I'll give you that.
I mean, Minnesota's in there 63-80.
Yeah, they sold everybody. I think they have one guy on their team that's on their roster next year or something like that. They're a long-term deal. Everybody else is like a 1-year or something deal. Well, because the Twins were trying to sell their franchise, so they were getting their payroll down. Now they're saying they're going to keep them and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, 6 games against the Giants before the season ends. So you're not out of this if you want to look at it, from that side. In terms of making it competitive with the Mets will falter again. I'm just telling you guys, they're going to. They're terrible out there. When we come back, let's get into it. NFL, of course, we do most of our NFL talk on Tuesdays, and it is official. Tomorrow is the 9th, Dale. The return of Bruce Cooper here on the airwaves.
It's official.
Going to join us. Well, because he told me the 9th, and I thought last week was the 9th. And I'm looking right now. Today is September 8th. Am I correct? That makes tomorrow the 9th. Let's do the math on my fingers.
It still remains to be seen. Can Bruce get up that early?
He's coming in at 8:30, so he doesn't have to wake up super early.
Okay.
So that's coming up, but we do a lot of NFL talk on Tuesdays as well. Close out the week. I got some nuggets for you, but look, Cardinals went on the road, 20-13 victories. Let's get into it when we come back. The main event. And we're back here. Main events. Lots of football talk today. Of course, we did cover the Diamondbacks there just a minute ago as well. And bulk of our NFL talk is on Tuesdays. We let Monday Night Football play out. But, of course, Cardinals played over the weekend. We talk about their games on a Monday. And, overall impression on the Cardinals, I was a little bit alarmed how their offensive and defensive line got manhandled by the Saints at times during that game yesterday. But other than that, I thought they played a pretty good game for a game that they didn't play any preseason stuff. And it was the first game of the season. It was probably better than I expected it would be for the Cardinals yesterday, overall.
At the end of the day, you look at it and you go, and who did I hear talk about it? I think it was the head coach, Jonathan Gannon. I mean, the number of one-score games in the National Football League, there's going to be a ton of them.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, when you can win a one-score game on the road, you take it. Now, again, it's, in my mind, a perfect scenario because you know you didn't play your best game. And if you did play your best game in game one, guess what? You're screwed.
Are you saying the Colts are screwed?
You're absolutely screwed. But Buffalo's offense, they're screwed.
Yeah.
But you always want to have something to work on. But instead of looking at the negatives, I'm going to look at, I thought Kyler Murray moved around pretty good.
I like what they did with them.
And some of it by design, some of it on his own.
He had to. That offensive line was getting destroyed by Cam and that Saints front four, man.
Cam Jordan from Chandler High School, at 92 years old, still getting it done. I mean,
they said his name at the beginning of the game, and I went,
yeah,
he's still playing?
He's been around forever.
I literally reacted that way, like, what?
Yeah. But so there's a lot of stuff that you can work on and clean up. But I was happy with Kyler Murray's performance.
Missed that one throw to Marv though for that 97-yard touchdown it would have been, and just sailed it.
I was gonna say again, you're gonna go negative. I'm gonna go positive.
No, an NFL quarterback, I hate to say it, but an NFL quarterback needs to make that. That is a throw an NFL quarterback just completes.
I'm giving you my positives, and you can go your negatives. I thought Marvin Harrison had a nice opening game. Really tough catch over his shoulder with good coverage. Last year,
that would have been a job.
That ball would have been knocked out. So I see some good things there. They rushed the ball for 146 yards.
Yeah, and Connor didn't get most of those yardage.
No, you average over 5 yards per carry in the National Football League. You're doing something. So while the offensive line, I think, struggled more in pass protection than run blocking.
I agree. Yeah,
you average over 5 yards per carry in the National Football League. You're doing something right.
And it's the old thing in the NFL. Connor didn't get any big yardage, but he loosened up that defensive line for Trey Benson to get that, was it a 58-yard rush that he had at one point? They opened it up to where Kyler Murray had holes where he could get out there as well. So even though James Conner, that just kind of helps them out as they go. My big question for you is, because this drives me nuts about Kyler Murray, a lot of things do, but it drives me nuts. First drive of the game, we see it right off the bat. Kyler Murray strolls out, has to scramble out of the pocket, steps out of bound. They said it was 0 yards at that point, but it was basically short of the line of scrimmage, counts as a sack. Then a couple plays later, rolls out again, runs to his left, slides right at the line of scrimmage again, counts as a sack because it's technically behind the line. I heard Ross Tucker say offensive linemen hate that, during the thing, but I was already on Twitter before he said that, just going like, throw the ball away. Chalk it out of bounds. Yeah. You don't lose any yardage on it. They ended up being 0-yard losses. Is what it ended up being technically on the, on the cheat, even though it was a few inches or whatever. But as an offensive lineman, why can't he just throw that ball away, man?
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I think I've told you before, but Jim Kelly came to Buffalo and he was a savior and all that. In his first year, he was fixated on completing 60% of his passes. Now, this is back in the mid-'80s when it was a different game. 60% was Pro Bowl material. Yeah. I know 70% is that it now. But he would stand back there and take a sack rather than throw the ball away.
Yeah.
And he was told to know in certain terms by some of his offensive linemen that blank stops.
Because he was more worried about his stats than anything else.
Yes. Not only are you hurting the team, you're making us look bad.
Yeah.
And all for you so you can complete 60% of your passes. Well, guess what? Jim obviously went on to have a Hall of Fame career.
Turned out all right for him.
But, yeah, I saw that early in the game, and I'm like,
He's always done it.
You have to be aware of what you're doing. Because technically in the scorebook, it says 5 sacks.
Yeah,
It
and
says 5 sacks.
2 of their first 3 sacks were Kyler Murray sliding or stepping out of bounds before the line.
Yes.
And that sacks go against who, Dale?
The offensive line.
Exactly. Kyler Murray doesn't get a sack line on his deal.
No. It's like, how did he do such a good job with 5 sacks?
It drives me batty when he does it. It's just either get that yard or just throw the ball 10 yards out of bounds, down that sideline or something.
Right.
But also it sets you backwards, right? A lot of negatives yesterday for me was the Cardinals' penalties. It wasn't how many penalties they had. It was when they happened. Verholt getting that penalty. Then they have to kick that field goal that's ultimately blocked. It just, I get it, half a yard, 1 yard, whatever, where he steps out of bounds. That's a negative play. Mm-hmm. And you're going back a little bit. That changes things. 2nd and 5 is different than 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7 because you stepped out of bounds instead of throwing the ball away. It's another thing if they get to you and you get sacked, and you don't have time. That's a different scenario. But it just seems like useless moving back a little bit, and it's just wasted energy for the next play call to come in. It drives me nuts. He's done it his whole career, and it drives me batty. It's one thing about Kyler Murray that I don't know of another quarterback in the league that does it. And he does it so nonchalantly, too. He gets to the sideline and he goes, all right. Then just steps out. And it's like, take a step forward, homeboy.
It's still the thing, I was watching with a couple buddies, and it's still the thing of the body language. As New Orleans is driving the ball down for that last drive, you see shots of him sitting on the bench with that pouty look on his face. Instead of,
but he was sick, Dale.
Get up there and be involved. Cheer your defense on.
Maybe he ate something bad. Maybe he had an ASU problem.
Yeah, enough that time.
Maybe he had some gumbo on Saturday night and it didn't affect him, right? How much do you think the Cardinals flying out on Saturday and changing their flight schedule could have affected the beginning of that game? Out of curiosity. Because they changed it up. Because they don't win on the road. And they don't win openers on the road with Jonathan Gannon. This is the first one they've done. They're 1-2 now in opening road games and things like that. So changing the flight, I do like this. That was the coaching staff saying what we've been doing isn't working.
Right.
Let's change it up here. And it's the first game of the year. If this was week 12 and you fly out the day before, I might be like, what are you doing?
These teams spend a lot of the offseason looking at trends, looking at things. Hey, again, we're not having success in this department, whether it's okay on the road, whatever. Let's look at maybe changing something up. Again, I've never played on the West Coast and had to fly to the East Coast and play a game. And
yeah, the Raiders got rid of you before you had to do that.
I got hurt, so I didn't play that year. I know how I feel when I broadcast a game going from West Coast to East Coast because you always fly out the day before.
Most of us have traveled that way. I'll never forget there was a big Saints matchup back when Drew Brees and the Saints were all good, and they were playing Monday Night Football. And I fell asleep at halftime on the couch back east because I was like, it's 10:30 right now. It's ridiculous.
It is completely different. Well, especially back in the day when Monday Night Football started at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, at least I think it was 8. I think it was 8 p.m. Like you had dinner, you're hanging out, and you're like, we still got 2 hours before this thing starts, man. What is going on here? Robert says a bunch of Kyler's incompletions look to be because he was late with the ball. He's always late with the ball, which is one of my criticisms of Drew Pensing's offense. A lot of receivers run similar routes, and they put the decision on Kyler Murray in a high-pressure situation to decide which guy is going to be open. They put the pressure on the defense to decide, and Kyler Murray has to make a decision, and he's slow at those decisions at times. There's no doubt about it. Period, end of story. He is slow at times making those decisions. It's not because he can't see. It's because he's slow at making the, and Drew Pensing continues to do it. Kurt Warner did a great breakdown on this last year where two receivers one will run 5 and out, and another one will run 15 and out. And then Kyler Murray's got to decide which guy he has to throw to. A lot of teams do that in the NFL now, by the way. A lot do it.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray's slow at making those decisions, so he throws the ball late. 100% correct on that, Robert. Year 7, he throws it late. Then Robert says, it was the same stagnant offense as well. Probably less than 5% of the offensive plays had a guy in motion, and he's specifically naming Marv. And that was my disappointment yesterday. You're watching Spencer Rattler move guys around. Guys going into motion, even if it's just a couple steps and then they do that dance thing until the ball snapped. Cardinals just line up and go. Drives me nuts. Drew Pensing's offense is unimaginative. It's boring.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, you're on the road. You don't know how loud the crowd's going to be. How much movement do you want to have? Now, again, this week will be the telltale sign because we heard about it during training camp.
Yep.
They're going to move Marv around.
Yeah, and they didn't do it.
So now you got a home game. Let's see how that goes.
But putting Marv into a motion, if the crowd noise would affect that?
Yes, because again, they were going silent snap count.
Yeah.
If you saw that.
They would. Thank you, coaches, by the way.
And there's a little bit of movement, but everything has to be in sync, and it's really hard, especially if you're in a really noisy environment. I don't know how loud the Superdome was yesterday. I know at times
it can
seem loud.
Well, they don't. The Saints fan base doesn't know how bad their team is yet, so they were fired up yesterday.
I don't know. If I could take one thing away from the New Orleans Saints, Spencer Rattler might have a chance.
He impressed me yesterday.
He might have a chance.
He made good decisions yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
So here's the way I'm going to go about this. You and all your buddy listeners can take the negative route. I'm going to say very happy with the rushing game. Glad to see Trey McBride back in the mix. 6 catches.
I'll go a step farther. I like the way they utilized all 3 tight ends yesterday.
Yeah, and
they go to that big bunch where all 3 tight. That means you have a cornerback on 2 tight ends, folks. Do you know what that means? A cornerback is not winning a battle against a tight end in a passing game very often.
Well, and plus it's called 13 personnel,
Yeah.
and that you can run the ball out of that. You can do both.
Yeah, you have the strength, yeah.
Because you've got 2 guys who can catch passes.
I do like that with this offense. I do like that style.
Like the way they ran the ball, and defensively, you look at a couple things. Yeah, we mentioned Josh Sweat. He had 1 tackle, 1 assist. But there was still some. Buda Baker hasn't lost a step.
They ran away from Sweat a lot. Alvin Kamara did not go Sweat's way a lot yesterday. So I'm not going to put it all on Josh Sweat, but at the same time, he got nowhere near Spencer Rattler.
And Calais Campbell, he was a nice
First
addition.
defensive play of the game was in there making the play.
And the other thing is, you hold any NFL team to 13 points.
Yeah,
you got to be happy about that. So again,
well, don't forget Will Johnson, folks. I told you this when they drafted him. If he's healthy, he's going to be a stud in this league. And you saw it. He's bigger. He's faster than most receivers. And did you see him lay out? I think it wasn't Alvin Kamara. It might have been something. He laid him out late in that game on that little.
Chris Olave.
Oh, Olave. That's right. And it was like, what just happened?
And
you do not see cornerbacks do that in this league.
And it was a clean hit. Hit him with his shoulder pad. I mean,
and he just stood. He hit him with his shoulder pad and then just stood there. And Olave is like flying through the air. I mean, not just that though, but I mean, he was targeted 7 times, only gave up 4 catches for 32 yards. He actually defended 3 of them, knocked 2 of them down on top of it. That interception, and that NFL's got to fix that penalty call. We'll talk about that in a second. But he had that interception. He went and got that ball. That was the receiver's ball. And he was like, nope, I'm the receiver. I'm going to go get this thing. You can see that stuff as well. Of course, that big hit. Will Johnson is going to develop into a cornerback where they're going to have to throw away from him coming up here. He's going to be a deciding factor as long as he can stay on that field. It's going to be fun to watch.
As far as question marks, him and Melton, I thought they answered the call. I think they did pretty darn good, and they're only going to get better. That's what we're talking about. Will Johnson, first NFL start.
He looked like he was a seasoned vet out
Yes.
there. He looked like he's played 10 years, and he knows how to play the position.
Yes.
It was fun to watch him do that, and I haven't seen the All-22 yet. And I'm wondering how much more he's going to jump out. That was just on the broadcast where he jumped out.
Right.
And I watched the second half of this game at a Chili's, by the way, on their TVs, those vaunted TVs.
At 11:30. You're eating Chili's at 11:30?
Yeah, about 11:30. 11:45. It was that or Buffalo Wild. Where it was either that or Buffalo Wild
We need to
Wings.
start eating a little healthier. How else are you going to get that squat up to 1,100 pounds?
Already there. So I mean, those are positives. Absolutely. I don't have. I mean, you could nitpick this and go negative. Like I said, offensive line struggles actually alarmed me a little bit yesterday. The defensive line struggles alarmed me yesterday as well. But Saints have size on that line and everything. That Saints line isn't their problem. Having a healthy Alvin Kamara is really helpful for the Saints. He's been injured a lot lately. Having him out there, Chris Olave, same situation. Having him healthy helped him out from that perspective. So it was fun to watch. Look, anytime you get out of an opening game on the road, I don't care who it is, week one, stamina you have to worry about in the second half. The way that the Cardinals broke up that final touchdown pass there where the guy caught the ball and Budda Baker ends up getting credited with it, but knocks it out and saves that touchdown. That's just a gorgeous defensive play right there. He caught that ball and Budda Baker was like, no, you didn't.
It was a hell of a throw by Rattler, almost a spectacular catch. But Budda Baker, who, you just talk about him and his contributions, obviously the leading tackler yesterday, 10 total tackles, 5 solo, tackle for loss, and a pass defense. That's a pretty good afternoon for your strong safety.
Yeah, he's all right. I went and looked at NFL.com, always does takeaways from all the games out there, because I wanted to see what the national perspective on the Cardinals was. Like I said, I have the Cardinals winning the division. I know you have the Cardinals winning the division. I have them winning 10, 11 games this season.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what?
Well, no, I know. I was just going to say, I mean, you look at San Francisco and Kittle's already hurt. And,
yeah, they're in trouble.
It's just like.
Stafford looked good yesterday.
I mean, Trent Brown went down for a little bit. He came back.
Yeah.
But that San Francisco team.
Not Trent Brown. Is that his name? The offensive lineman?
The left tackle?
Yeah, it's not Brown, is it? Maybe. Trent, whatever. Yeah, the big guy.
Yes.
The all-star. He's getting up there in age.
It's not Trent Williams, is it?
Trent Williams. Yeah. Brown.
Williams?
I was like, it's not Brown. Yeah,
Okay.
Williams. Trent Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, no, Niners. That's why I put the Niners. I have them third. I thought the Rams, but Matthew Stafford looked good. I wonder how Matthew Stafford woke up today. That's what I want to know.
I don't know. He looked like he's bouncing around at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, they're interviewing him, and he's standing there and just like, hey, everybody, how's it going? And I'm like, I want to know when that shot wears off, what he feels like. And everything, but they look good yesterday. Matthew Stafford's the key to them. But no, that's the whole thing here, right? Is that? But the national perspective here of the Cardinals. This is the headline: Dynamic Murray powers Cardinals offense as well. They say Kyler Murray at times unstoppable against a veteran-led Saints defense, and that's what people don't get. That Saints defense is going to have holes in it this year. That's the healthiest that Saints defense and offensive line is going to be all year. They're going to get injuries, and they're going to go back a little bit, and that's what's going to make them terrible this year, right? If it goes that route from that side. But I don't necessarily. They say here that Kyler Murray's performance brings back memories of an MVP level stretch he displayed in 2021. I wouldn't go that far. But for all the people that are negative on Kyler Murray, yes, folks, there's no doubt about it. Kyler Murray throws the ball late a lot. I attributed that to the design of the offense. It doesn't fit Kyler Murray's passing style at times. And things like that. But what I liked the most was Kyler Murray was not afraid to run the ball yesterday. And that's what the Cardinals need from him to have success on that side as well. Marvin Harrison Jr., even though it wasn't a quote-unquote contested catch, the one over the shoulder, last year that was a drop. He wasn't going and getting that ball. I want to see one where him and the defender are fighting for it legitimately, going for it, because last year he didn't win one of those, I don't think. But I think that muscle for him, he looked comfortable in the offense. That's how I would describe it. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked comfortable in that offense. Trey McBride, the other two tight ends, I just forgot, Higgins and Tip. Ryman. Not Ryman. Yeah, Ryman, yep. Ryland's the kicker. I think those three tight ends are going to be the best three tight ends when they're on the field together they're going to do special things with this offense this year. And you saw that a little bit yesterday as well. Now, the bad part, if you want to go negative a little bit, you got to score more touchdowns. You got to stop relying on the field goal. I get it, but they had this problem last year where they'd stall, right, and have to kick long field goals. Be nice to see them convert some of those and get a little bit closer for short field goals or get some touchdowns out of that as it goes on as well, right? So,
Well, your former Cardinal kicker had a big one last night.
Ooh, Matt Prater. He'd be back with the Cardinals if, Ryland showed up and kicked well when he was injured last year. Don't get injured, folks. A young guy will take your place.
Oh, they're waiting for you.
The thing I'll take out of this, though, so I'm positive on the Cardinals. And the Panthers looked atrocious over the weekend again, and that's who you have at home this week. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if the Cardinals play that way for most of the year, they're having a successful season. Now, you expect them to get better. So now let's see what happens, right?
Oh, because they had the Panthers, and they got the Niners and the Seahawks.
Yeah. Seahawks, man.
But then the Titans, Colts.
Yeah,
obviously, is Daniel Jones going to be Peyton
I gave
Manning?
you that MVP, Daniel Jones. I gave you that stat. The last time Daniel Jones played really well in his Giants debut as well, like really well, like to the point where you're like, Giants have their quarterback, and you feel that way about the Colts. Let's because of that, let's put a pause on Daniel Jones and see. Plus, he was playing the Dolphins, and we have to talk about Tua here now. Tyreek Hill is going to be a problem in that locker room. He was yesterday. You see him freaking out on the sideline at one point. Yeah. There has to be a Tua discussion. I'm not saying Tua needs to retire. Tua needs to get out of the league, but he needs a different team. That he cannot run that offense, and he's not good at it, and it's bad. What do you have? 3 interceptions? 4 interceptions yesterday?
I think
17 interceptions yesterday?
I think the writing's on the wall for Mr. Mike McDaniel.
Oh, yeah. I think they all know that this is their run this year. I agree with you on that. It's amazing. Other NFL news. But so I was happy with the way the Cardinals played. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But get used to Kyler Murray throwing the ball late. If I know a lot of people. It was amazing how many people on social media, and they're all the Kyler haters. He can now do anything right and stuff like that. He throws the ball late. It just, you have to get used to that. It's not changing, right? On that. Robert says, I thought Thompson knocked it out. Yeah, that's what the broadcast kept saying was Thompson knocked it out. But Buda Baker got the thing in the scorecard that he knocked it out. So, and
it
if
looked
you
like
watch,
he put his helmet on the ball.
if you watch the replay afterwards, he catches it, brings it down to his stomach, and then Buda Baker gets him and goes. I think that's where you get credited at that time. Cincinnati yesterday held to 7 yards in the second half against Cleveland. Still win that game, by the way.
Find a way to win, Steve.
7 yards in the second half for them. We had talked about Daniel Jones. AFC West, every team has a win except for one. Guess which team lost there? Your Chiefs. Are the Chiefs dynasty over? Bury them now or what?
Wow.
Going back to that game, Chiefs have an offensive problem. Now, they lost to Worthy with the separated friendly fire with Travis Kelce's now taking out his teammates in the first quarter on the first drive of the game.
Engaged, and look what happened.
All of a sudden, he's separating shoulders of their best receiver. The Chiefs have a receiver problem this year, and they better stay healthy or they're going to have a passing problem, if they don't wake up from that perspective. The Titans, how good are the Titans? First of all, Cam Ward throws a beautiful football. So beautiful that his receivers can't catch it when it hits him in the hands. That was brutal yesterday. But the Titans offense had 133 total yards, Dale. They had 131 penalty yards yesterday.
Sloppy first week of the season.
That's it. That's the thing I'll take out of it, too. Sloppy at times the Cardinals did, but they didn't look as bad as they've looked in other ones, right? In other seasons. They didn't have a terrible start to the season. Yeah, the first drive was 3 and out. or whatever, and it didn't look good. Because I even posted like something mockingly, like it was like 3 plays and -2 yards or whatever, and I mockingly put up, just like you drawed it out. But after that, it went well. Micah Parsons looked good last night for the Green Bay, man. His quote after the game was this, Dale: "These last 6 months was super draining, super toxic for everyone. The fact I was traded a week before the season was really outrageous and rough." I find that quote interesting from him.
He also heaped praise on the Cowboys for playing hard on Thursday night.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Well, you don't have hard feelings against the team you're better than. You got to face twice this year. He's not Dillingham. He's not going to insult everybody before he has to play him.
Wow.
Cardinals. Everybody in the NFC West is 1-0 except for your Seattle Seahawks.
That's only because they played in that.
They played Rams.
Yeah.
On that
They
side.
played 49ers.
The Colts scored on all 7 of their possessions yesterday. The first team since 1977 to do that.
Daniel Jones, MVP. Do you have him on your card?
No. Cleveland outgained Cincinnati in that game. I told you Cincinnati was held to 7 yards in the second half. By the way, fewest yards in the second half by a winning team in the last 25 years. Cleveland won that 327 yards for Cleveland, 141 for Cincinnati. 22 first downs for Cleveland, 11 for Cincinnati, and still lost by 1 game. And then your boy Aaron Rodgers, we'll just sum it up by saying this. Your boy Aaron Rodgers, they were down big, came back, won it with a 60-yard field goal by the place kicker. Aaron Rodgers after the game says, "I hate everything about the Jets," or something to that effect. Like
I want to beat everybody on the Jets.
Jets had that game won, man, and they blew it. 60-yard field goal. I mean, if you're going to lose to a 60-yard field goal, you're going to lose to a 60-yard field goal, right? But Aaron Rodgers starting to watch out for the Steelers. I have him third in that division, but making the playoffs, I don't know.
I know we'll get into more stuff tomorrow, but that Buffalo-Baltimore game was the classic.
Yeah, I know, and I put it on Twitter. I think I said it earlier. This is what cracks me up about it. Any other team, maybe there might be a couple more teams, but I'm going to put Chiefs fans into this category as well. We'll see at the end of the season. Chiefs might be able to. But there is Super Bowl contenders, and then there's everybody else. And the Cardinals is on the other side of it. The Cardinals are nowhere near Buffalo and the Ravens. By the way, 17 double-digit losses in the second half by John Harbaugh for the Ravens. 17. He's had a double-digit lead and lost it as he's been head coach of the Ravens.
Not preseason anymore.
That tells me there's a coaching issue. You take your foot off the pedal because it's not just with Lamar Jackson, his 8th year. This happened beforehand too. That tells me the coaching staff tends to, which is maybe why they don't get to that Super Bowl deal. Don't close them out a little bit. We'll talk more NFL tomorrow. Maybe Bruce Cooper. Tomorrow's the 9th.
Making his debut.
Tomorrow's the 9th.
You better bring it.
I'll tell him. I'll text him later and say, Dale says you better bring it. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Football day. Don't forget, McCollum on Business coming up at 11. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night. And I'm going to go watch the All-22 film.
Go Vikings.
How late. Go Bears tonight, baby. Bears are going to win this thing. J.J. McCarthy is going to look like he's never played football before. It's not Michigan anymore. See you tomorrow, folks.